back into Cherry Picking, everyone. Today's video, we're going to be looking at NHL best bets for Tuesday, May 9th. You've got 2 games on the NHL playoff schedule. Hurricanes and Devils game 4 in Jersey, and then the Kraken and the Stars game 4 in Seattle. The Kraken stealing another one, or I don't even know if you want to call it stealing. 7-2 is usually just a dominant victory in pretty much every sport. And then the Devils, they also won in dominant fashion, winning 8-4. So let's see if the favorites of these 2 series can kind of pull one back here and get one before they both head home. But before we get into the picks, be sure if you haven't signed up at either BetMGM or DraftKings, definitely the best place for NHL odds, NHL Stanley Cup playoff betting. If you're looking to sign up at BetMGM, you get a $1,000 first bet offer on them on your first bet. And then if you're looking at signing up at DraftKings, way less risk involved with that one. All you need to do is sign up, deposit $5, bet 5 on any team to win, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Let's get into the picks for Tuesday. All right, so the first pick we're going to be looking at is Hurricanes money line against the Devils in Game 4, plus 135. This is a great price to play on a live dog here with Carolina. There's not too many times you'll get them at plus 135, but we saw this happen to Carolina in the first series against the Islanders. They go up 2-0 in dominant fashion, winning both games at home, and then that third game, the first game away from home, they get absolutely torched. Happened against the Islanders, they lost 5-1, and then this one, the Devils just pulled away. It was game was pretty much over after the first period, going up 3-0 in a playoff game, especially in these kind of games so far. So similar scenario to what happened in the first round, but Game 4, Carolina switched it back and absolutely dominated the Islanders and won 5-2. I think they'll do the same thing here for a couple reasons. For one, I think Freddie Anderson was kind of due for a stinker there. He obviously didn't play very well in that first period, getting pulled in the second period, I believe. So looking at his 2 games prior to that, the first game, I think there were 18 shots against him. He led in 1. In Game 2, he'll test it a little bit more, but we've seen throughout the steady course of his career, he'll play very solid for a period of time and then give up one really bad game. So I think he'll be able to get back. I don't think Kochetkov will really start. I think Brendan Moore will have trust in Freddie Anderson after a couple of games he's won prior to that. And then the expected goals were 4 against 2. So overall, I think it was just a bad performance for Freddie Anderson in the goaltending overall from Carolina. And then Vitek Vanacek as well. That was the first game he played in a week and a half after Kira Schmid got pulled in the other one. And then they decided to go with Vanacek as the starter for that one. And the Devils had a 3-goal lead by the end of the first period. This guy had pretty much no impact of the game instead of just not letting every shot that ended up going on him later on in the periods. But I think he'll be much more tested early in that first one. I think Brendan Moore will definitely tighten up defensively, and I think Freddie Anderson will have a much better game. So at plus 135 at DraftKings, the best price, I would definitely play it. Hurricanes plus 135 in Game 4. All right, so looking at the second game, the first pick we're going to make in this one is Stars money line at minus 140. BetMGM offering the best price for this one. The Dallas Stars got absolutely destroyed in that Game 3. First game home in Seattle in that series. Similar thing, I guess, to what happened to Carolina, except they didn't have the luxury of being up 2-0. So now they're down in the series. But a very similar kind of game we saw in that Minnesota series. We saw Jake Oettinger just absolutely flounder in Game 3 in that first game back to Minnesota. They lost 5-1, I believe, in that game, and Jake Oettinger definitely didn't play to the level we saw. In the 7-2 loss against the Kraken, Jake Oettinger got pulled for Scott Wedgwood in the second period, or third period, and then his goal saved above expected was -3. He didn't have as bad of a game against Minnesota, but he certainly bounced back. The Stars went on to win 3 straight, and one of them was a shutout from Jake Oettinger. The other 2, he played fantastic hockey. The Wild's offense was definitely at a different level, but if you look at the expected goals in this one, there weren't really a lot from either end. It was just really a really bad performance from the goaltending from the Dallas Stars. The expected goals were 2.5 to 1.8. Definitely one of the downside things there. Miro Heiskanen might be out for Game 4. I doubt it. He got a puck to the face, and they said that they really didn't bring him back in that game because they were getting absolutely killed. So I think he'll probably play with some sort of face shield. But even if he does, that was a really unfortunate set of events for the Kraken. They had 4 goals scored on them in a span of 4 minutes in that second period. So I don't see something like that happening on Jake Oettinger and Dallas Stars in Game 4. I think the Stars will bounce back and tie this series before heading back to Dallas. All right, so the last pick we're going to be making on Tuesday is also in the Stars and Kraken game. It's a player prop. I mentioned that I think some of the players on the Stars especially on those first two lines, need to elevate their game in this one, considering they created no offense in Game 3. And my go-to player here is Jason Robertson to score at plus 135. I think it's really interesting. He doesn't have a single goal in the series, and he continues to be the shortest price on the board to score at plus 135. I think the next closest guy is Sagan at plus 200 around. But I really like Robertson to finally break his streak here. He hasn't scored in 4 playoff games now, as I mentioned, and either the 3 games in this series as well. And, we've seen a lot of the focus turn to Roope Hintz. He was a fantastic playoff performer in that first series, and even in the first couple of games, he's been great. Joe Pavelski as well. The focus has been off Jason Robertson, but he's still getting a decent amount of minutes, playing around 20 minutes per game. His shot volume is a little bit down, but still, it's at 5 or 6 per game, which is definitely high enough, and he still controls the puck pretty much all the time. I did mention that Miro Heiskanen, there's a chance he's going to play a little bit banged up, a little bit injured. I think that actually helps Jason Robertson's production, especially when you're looking on the power play. I think they'll rely on him to maybe move the puck a little bit more, and then definitely look at him to score, because he was that guy during the regular season. He's also working off a shooting percentage that's less than 5. Right now in the regular season, his shooting percentage is around 14%, and that included on the power play as well. So I really like his price to score here, especially since he hasn't scored and it's still plus 135. It's not like the books are giving you like an astronomical number at plus 250. So it's a realistic value here. So plus 135 for Jason Robertson to score in Game 4 against Seattle. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of today's picks. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Sign up at BetMGM or DraftKings if you haven't yet, if you're looking to bet on the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. And I'll see you guys in the next video.